What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Zoe No Days Off DFS here to bring you that NBA slate breakdown for the 7-game NBA slate we got today. Some pretty decent games on the slate. Definitely should be some high totals and some decent spots that we should be able to attack. And if you guys don't know and you see it, that's the cover photo for the thumbnail and just the cover photo for today's video. We got our boys going back to Toronto today. Well, not back to Toronto, but going back to New York to take on their team that they just got traded from. So really interested in the RJ Barrett and Iman quickly revenge narrative today, because I actually do think they might come out for some blood today, especially after the thing circulating in regards to them just being soft. Feel like they got rid of the softies, and I don't know, maybe we can get a run back with the OG on the other side to actually want to show a little something to his old team and show what he's all about on the New York Knickerbockers. But before we even get into that, let's get into the slate breakdown. Well, sorry, into the injury report, and I'll go over that. If you guys new here, make sure you guys drop a like on the video if you guys are winning some money, and if you're enjoying the content, period, really does help a lot. Push it out there to other people, especially with the algorithm, and then drop a subscription as well, so that you guys don't miss any of the content I'm putting out. If you guys new here and you guys don't know, on Sunday I will not have any content being posted. Only place that will be on the Patreon. I will not post any YouTube videos or anything, just because Sunday do take day off, spend time with the family and everything. I'm getting this out early today because we'll be going to go watch football later, watching the games. That 4:30 game with the Houston. The Texans taking on the Baltimore Ravens. Gonna go over to a friend's house. We're gonna have a little bit of a watch party, so gonna enjoy that. Hopefully, if any updates or anything need to be posted, I will get those up on the Patreon. And if you have any questions, talk to me in the YouTube comment section or on the Patreon and in Discord. Just at me. I will respond to all comments. Thank you guys for reaching out, and let's go ahead. Let's rock it on today. Hopefully, you guys cashed out yesterday. Core was pretty good. If you guys got my little note that I had put in on the core, originally I had Joel Embiid as my main center, but then I swapped it off to Anthony Davis, who popped off for 61 fantasy points and was low owned, so it definitely helped propel into the cash lineup last night. Of course, DeJounte Murray, highly owned. Bogdan Bogdanovic, kind of a letdown game, but definitely could have been chalk that we could have faded, but definitely ate that chalk right there. And then just round out the lineup here with the player pool and everything. You should have been able to cash pretty decently yesterday on the slate. So let's go ahead, try to see if we can get the takedown today and just keep it rolling. This first game, the 3 o'clock game, of course, this is not going to be on the slate. There will be a showdown for this. I'm not going to mess with that. But if you guys were to run anything for this, if you guys were to run type of showdown or something like that, Jaden Ivey will be one of the main players I want to go to. High usage guards going up against Milwaukee have literally cooked them all season long, and I don't think that's going to change. If they want to stay in this game, it is going to be on the back of Ivy having to go ahead and slash, knock down his threes, and just play pretty good. Speaking of threes, Bogdan Bogdanovic, him on the other side, he's going to have to literally splash threes as well. Pretty much, if he's not scoring and not doing enough in the scoring aspect, you're not going to really get a good game from Bogdan, because that's mainly what he's out there to do, mainly what he actually goes out there and he does. Really crazy that Isaiah Stewart just came back, but he's already going to be injured, not going to be playing today. Definitely think Giannis, if he plays, he should be able to literally destroy this whole front line. But Jalen Duren, we have seen opposing centers have had pretty good games going up against the Milwaukee Bucks. So really favorite plays over here for Detroit. If you're playing showdown, it's going to be Ivy, Bogdanovic, Jalen Duren. Bogdanovic would be the one that's like, he's a so-so, but definitely could be used. Then over here on the Milwaukee side, of course, got to go right back to Damian Lillard. Opposing guards, they've done their work going up against Detroit anyway, so I wouldn't expect that to change. Malik Beasley, don't mind him at all. If you can fit Giannis, of course you're going to want to play Giannis. Literally, the dude has a floor of at least 50 fantasy points, and in this matchup, he should be able to cook and get whatever he wants. I don't see any reason why he's not going to actually be able to put up a pretty decent game. And then you can round it out with Chris Middleton or anything like that. Off the bench, of course, you're going to want to mess with your Pat Connaughtons, your Jacksons, and things like that off the bench from Milwaukee. Detroit, it's a mixing pot, it's a mixing pool, but not really messing with this stacking right here. I might have a game stack price pick slip put up on site. Definitely we'll try to do that. I've been doing that a little bit more and more on my personal side, just trying to go ahead and game stacking correlation is actually pretty decent. So I will look into that. Might actually have something put up on site, so I will let you guys know. If you guys are looking for that, check the link down in the description below for the Patreon. You can find that right there. All right, going over to the actual main slate. Like I said, we got a good 7 games and pretty decent games on the dock for today. San Antonio Spurs taking on Washington. They are on the back end of a back-to-back. Wemby didn't play yesterday, but he is expected to play today. Zach Collins is going to be out today as well. On the other side, Daniel Gafford, game time decision. If Gafford's going to be out again, then Marvin Bagley should slide right back into the starting lineup and look pretty good in the start right there in that game. Philly, back end of a back-to-back, going up against the Charlotte Hornets. Really biggest thing, Nick Richardson, game time decision. Brandon McCowan, game time decision. Depending on whether or not these guys are going to play or not, we'll decide on who we're going to actually get at the starting center spot for the Charlotte Hornets, we saw that they gave PJ Washington the start at center. Wasn't too bad, but could have been better. And then over here on Philly side, I haven't seen any news saying anybody's going to rest, but definitely keep an eye on that because we do know they can rest players. I mean, it's the Charlotte Hornets. It's an 11-point spread right now. And I fully, of course, firmly expect Philly to win this game. It is kind of a no-brainer. So definitely something to pay attention to right there in that game. Cleveland Cavaliers taking on Atlanta Hawks. Trae Young was ruled out yesterday. Hopefully he'll be back today. I want to say he was sick, so maybe he might be feeling a little bit better. But if Trae is going to be out once again, then of course we're going to get the usage for DeJounte Murray in what could be a pretty decent game. And then, of course, Bogdan, he'll get slid right back into the starting lineup. Bogdanovich will get slid back to the starting line back at 2 guard, and with Murray running the point. On the other side for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Karis LeVert is doubtful to play, so that's going to be some usage off the bench. We're going to definitely talk and touch on that. I really do like one of my favorite value plays, as always. He normally comes through, and in this type of matchup, I think he's going to be able to come through here for this matchup. For Toronto, they're still without Jakopoto, so honestly, opposing centers, if you haven't already, Isaiah Hartenstein, his fantasy score and his rebound should be really great props to take today. Just like straight up off the dome, I have been attacking Toronto with opposing centers for props. Definitely really do like the upside that you can go ahead and get with that straight off the rip. Don't even have to look at any type of analytics numbers. You can take his defensive rebounds, you can take his regular rebounds, you can take his rebounds and assists, and you can take his fantasy points. Jonte Porter and Thaddeus Young, neither one of those guys are going to be able to hang or be able to rock with Isaiah Hartenstein and what he's been doing down there in the paint. The block, the steal upside, all that has been really phenomenal for him. But like I said, over here on the Toronto side, really do think this is going to be a pretty good, hopefully pretty good, depend on how soft, if they're Sharman soft or if they got a little bit of dog in them on how much Quickly and RJ Barrett come out and they play good in the Garden. I'm really going to be interested in to see how that's going to go. But no news really for Toronto, same old, and the same thing for New York Knicks. Josh Hart, a game time decision. If he's going to be out, Dante, his minutes are going to go up a little bit. That'll be the biggest thing that you're going to want to pay attention to over there on that side. Minnesota Timberwolves, they're still without literally a plethora of starters, so they're running out the 1 seed team, is what I'm going to call them. Pretty decent. If this game can stay close, I do like a possible game stack if they have their fantasy score numbers low. Again, Jaren Jackson Jr., Vincent Williams, Luke Kennard, all three of those guys really great. Oh, and Xavier Tillman, not bad, but not necessarily a must play. But Jaren Jackson Jr., Vincent Williams, and Luke Kennard, if their fantasy point scores are still like low 30s for Jaren Jackson Jr., in the 20s for Luke Kennard, and in the 20s for Vince Williams, I would take the over on those. A really great stack right there. And then you can run it back on the Bulls side with Kobe White, either his fantasy points, his points assists, any of those. I really do like the upside for him because, of course, we do know Zach LaVine is out once again. So that usage is going to go up for these guys in the starting lineup. But Kobe White, like his upside for his points, assists, his fantasy points as well. And then Vucevic on the other side, I wouldn't mind. Probably would just stick with his fantasy points if it's in the low mid-tier 30s, not touching those 40s would probably be something I would mess with right there. But definitely game stack worthy, especially just because the usage and the minutes, the rotations is there for Memphis. So definitely something to pay attention to. Over here, Utah taking on the Houston Rockets. No news for Utah. For the Rockets, they have nothing. Same old for them. OKC, Dort, he was sick last game. Definitely interested to see if he's going to be in or out going up against Minnesota. Definitely really do need him trying to guard Anthony Edwards. If Dort's out, I'm telling you, Ant's going to just have a fucking field day. He's literally going to destroy us because we actually legit don't have anyone else that can guard Ant with the physicality and the downhill that he can play with. So he's going to be able to eat Josh Giddey alive. He's going to be able to eat Kason Wallace, who will slide into the starting lineup again. He'll be able to eat him alive. Then, of course, the twin towers of Towns and Rudy, they'll be able to have a field day down there as well. Interesting game. Definitely excited to watch my team, see how they do here in this one, but definitely something right there. All right, heading over to DraftKings, the site that I play the most on, the site that if you guys don't have an account and you want one, check the link down in the description below so you guys can get that deposit match bonus and join your boy over here on the King. So looking at it, we have San Antonio Spurs taking on Washington as the first game going over. Of course, just looking at the matchup, the fact that Wemby is actually going to be playing today, he's under 9K. I understand he's still somewhat on a minutes limit. They've let him play 27 minutes in back-to-back. Well, not back-to-back games necessarily, but in his last 2 games, he's been ramped up to at least 27 minutes. I would hope that that's still going to be the case here. Maybe we're slowly trending towards that 30-minute mark for him in his games. So the upside is definitely going to be there for him. I really do like it. The matchup going up against Washington, we have attacked them continuously with opposing centers. Should be an easy day for Wemby to go out here, get his blocks, get his steals, get his rebounds. If they go ahead and they put that prop up, you guys already know what prop I'm talking about. That's going to be that 3.5 blocks and steals. Go ahead and hammer that. Wemby, he practically clears that with his blocks. He did that last game that he played, that I played it. It was going up against Atlanta, where he got 5 blocks, and I want to say 3 of them were in the first quarter. So he was already right there. But going up against Washington, definitely a team that can be susceptible to some blocks and can be turnover prone as well. If he's going up against like Marvin Bagley or even Gafford or anyone that they actually put into the paint going up against him, easy day for those blocks right there. Really do like the upside for him. Outside of that, I'm not too interested in too much over here on the Spurs, except for maybe I'll go back to Champagne, who did pretty well yesterday, 3,400. Still do like the price tag. Gonna start, played 19 minutes, but was very productive in those 19 minutes, dropping 20.5 fantasy points. Kind of the same kind of matchup again, going up against Washington, who is no different than the Charlotte Hornets in regards to defense. On the other side, for Washington, definitely, of course, Kyle Kuzma. He's looked pretty decent over his last couple games, bouncing back in a major way. And when I say major way, actually doing a little bit more besides just having to get his scoring going. Don't mind it, 8-4. Especially if you do expect for this game to be close, high pace, or anything like that. I definitely would take Kyle Kuzma. And then outside of that, maybe you can look to a Tyus Jones or a Denny Avdia. Either one of these guys, I really do like the upside for him. Denny, this could be one of those spots where you get him at low ownership where he can go out there and drop you a 54 fantasy point type game if he's getting the scoring, the rebounding, all that stuff going out there for him. But main 2 guys I'm going to look to is going to be Kyle Kuzma, Tyus Jones. And depending on if Gafford is in or out, if Gafford's out, then I will be looking to Marvin Bagley. If he's in, then I'm not going to be too interested in Marvin Bagley. I think they'll both play about 20-ish minutes each, and it's not going to be anything that's a must. Going over here for Philly, taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Straight out the rip, they're on the back end of back-to-back, but Joel Embiid, we've seen it. He's literally feasted even in back-to-backs. 31 minutes against Houston, dropped 63 fantasy points. 39 minutes against Denver Nuggets, 68.25 fantasy points. Houston Rockets, well, not Houston, I'm sorry, Charlotte. They are a slouch of a team in regards to what they can go out there and do. We've seen opposing centers, they have literally decimated and destroyed them. I'm not saying that Embiid's going to go out here and flop, but just realize that if this game does get out of hand, Embiid could be pulled, especially being on the back end of back-to-back. Outside of that, if you want to fade Embiid, I definitely can understand doing that. Maybe if you want to play the blowout angle, this is a double-digit spread. Philly is heavily favored in this game. I could see possibly a Paul Reed being someone that you look to, or maybe look to some of the axillary pieces, Tobias Harris, Tyrese Maxey. Any of these guys kind of matter. And then if you want to dive down the rabbit hole of, hey, revenge narrative, Kelly Oubre Jr. used to play for the Charlotte Hornets, so you definitely can mess with that. 32 minutes in that last game against Orlando, dropped 26 fantasy points. Again, I still do believe he plays much better with Joel Embiid out there, so the upside is definitely going to be there for him. On the Charlotte side, I will say the high usage guards, they've done pretty decent going up against Philly. So LaMelo Ball is one of those high usage stud guard players. I want to say this will be the first back-to-back that he will be playing in since coming back from his injury. He played 32 minutes last night. The minutes have been ramping up. Hopefully that'll be much of the same here. A prop that I definitely would be interested in taking for LaMelo would be his turnovers. If they put that at like 2.5 or 3, I would definitely take the over. Slight lean if they put it at 3.5. That's kind of a little bit out of my comfort zone, but I don't mind going to that as a possible prop play that you can definitely take. LaMelo is pretty turnover prone, and being on the back end of a back-to-back, we do tend to see teams turn over the ball quite a little bit more. So definitely something that you can take. And another prop I meant to mention over here for Philly, I mentioned it yesterday on stream, Joel Embiid, those free throws. He crushed that. He had like 7 of them in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken, and then slowly got it to 11. So again, going up against Charlotte Hornets, who do tend to foul quite a bit, and you have a foul merchant in Joel Embiid. If you want this game to get out of hand and maybe he has some tired legs and just wants to chill, coast it out, I don't mind going to Joel Embiid free throws again if they put that prop up there around that 9.5 mark. If it's at like 10, 11, I'm not going to mess with that too much, but let's see, going up against the Denver Nuggets in that game, where's your free throws? He took 15 free throws in that game going up against Denver, back end of a back-to-back. Let me see if I can find another back-to-back for him. This is great, pristine. Going against Detroit, free throws. He had 16 in that game, but he only had against Charlotte. Oh, wow. The first time he played him on the back-to-back, he dropped 70.75 fantasy points. Didn't get to the free throw line enough in that game, but still put up a pretty great scoring and rebound number in 30 minutes. So proves in the pudding in regards to what Joel Embiid can do in 30 minutes going up against Charlotte Hornets. Anyway, over here, like I said, LaMelo Ball definitely be a player I would go to. Definitely don't hate, don't mind playing that one right there. And then outside of Melo, Terry Rozier, Miles Bridges, both players that you can definitely mess with, and go to, but not anything that's too heavy. I'm really not too interested in the Charlotte Hornet on their side. Going over to the Cleveland Cavaliers taking on Atlanta. On the Cleveland side, we kind of know where it is. Donovan Mitchell, He's going to go ahead. He's going to go out here. He's going to have a usage, do what he does, can drop 50 plus fantasy points. Don't hate, don't mind it. 9,800, kind of a little bit too much for me in regards to pricing. I do have some other guards that I think are priced down. A real quick example would be Kobe White, 7-1. Great matchup going up against Memphis. So going to be a little hard for me to get up to pay that price tag for him, but definitely do not mind him. Now, Jared Allen, on the other hand, I do like the floor, the upside, the everything for Jared Allen. And I really do think this will be a great play to go to on today's slate. Jared Allen, he's been smashing, of course, with no Evan Mobley, with no Darius Garland out there. He's pretty much kind of been the 1B in regards to just consistency out here for the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I really do like the upside. Great matchup going up against Clint Capella and Onyeka Okongwu. Can definitely get them into foul trouble, bully him, get the rebounds, do whatever the heck it is that he needs to do. And if they put his fantasy score number at something decent, not give me no crazy 47.5 or close to 50 fantasy points, give me the low 40s. I would definitely take the over for that. If they don't, then definitely a prop that you can look to, which I've been writing out for quite a little bit, depending on what they put it at. If they put it at like 8, I will continue to play his defensive rebounds. That's been something that he's been very good at, and it's a lean in regards to playing those offensive rebounds, because sometimes they don't get those offensive putbacks, things like that. But playing against bigs that do tend to stay in the paint, such as a Clint Capella and a Onyeka Okongwu, that should be pretty easy for Allen to either A, get those defensive rebounds, or be able to get those offensive rebounds as well. Do like the upside for that as a prop play on today that you can go to. Outside of that, of those main two, you're definitely, if Karis LeVert is going to be out, which looks like he was trending to being doubtful, Max Strus, I do like the upside for him. But I'm going to go right back to my boy Sam Morril. The dude off the bench is cooking. If he can get that 3-point shot to fall, which he should be able to going up against the Atlanta Hawks, great value on today's slate. And I'm honestly going to tell you guys, he's my top value play on today. Long as he's going to get 20 minutes, I know he's a really great fantasy point per minute producer when he's out there. He can do more than just score. And if the game was to blow out, he will be able to get that garbage time run as well out there with the bench unit. Outside of that, not really looking too much. You can take a chance on Georges Niang's. I know that he's played great. And when I say great, he's getting minutes. He's getting burned. He's getting run. And he's playing pretty decently over these minutes. 27 minutes in the last game against Milwaukee. He dropped 44.25 fantasy points. A lot due to the fact that the man went 5 of 5 from 3 for a long time. Like, he hadn't missed it. He shot perfectly almost for that whole game. 13 of 14. Missed 1 3. But he was cooking in that game. And I watched that game. He was cooking. I'm not going to say he's going to go out here and repeat it, but the matchup that he has coming off the bench going up against Atlanta, it's pretty favorable for him to actually be able to repeat that. Outside of that, you can take a chance on a Craig Porter Jr. or Dean Wade if you want to, but I'm not gonna put my eggs in those baskets right there. Over here for Atlanta, if Trae Young is going to be missing today, which he's been ruled out for Friday's matchup, illness, didn't travel with Hawks to Miami, will miss the first game since so he stayed in Atlanta, didn't have to travel, gonna get better. If he's gonna be on the slate, he's gonna be playing today. I do like the upside for Trae Young. Don't hate, don't mind it. Coming off of quote unquote rest, just getting himself better from being sick. There's no telling what kind of cold it was that he had. So upside for him is definitely gonna be there. But if Trae's gonna be out again, of course we're gonna go to our boy DeJounte Murray. You can try to mess with a Jalen Johnson. I'm not going to say that he's a must play. I know he is my DFS darling. I do like to go and play him, but I am going to wait till that price comes down a little bit closer to under 7K before I try to go back to him, or I just get a much better and more favorable matchup. I don't mind him here. Definitely is worth it and definitely can play him. But honestly, everyone over here for the Hawks, they're kind of GPP options for me unless I know that Trae Young is going to be out. If Trae's going to be out, I will go right back to Bogdanovic. Like I said, he kind of burned me a little bit last night. 35 minutes. The most minutes that he's played in a while. And he gave me what he would give me if he only played 24, 25 minutes. So we'll go right back to him. Think that he would be lower owned because of everyone's going to have the bad taste in their mouth, like exactly what I just described and I talked about with him. So I definitely do think the upside could be there in getting him at low ownership. Clint Capella, Onyeka Okongwu, all those guys, not really too interested in any of them over there. Toronto taking on New York Knickerbockers. Like I said, this is revenge narrative, revenge spot, revenge everything for Iman Quickly, for RJ Barrett. Love the upside for either one of these guys. I'm going to be definitely taking some props for them on today's slate. Probably going to take their assist, Quickly for his PR, Quickly for his threes. Really just going to throw some GPP slips out there in regards to what I think can actually happen in this. And then I'll look at the actual matchup, and then I'll focus on that end. But right now, off the rip, out the gate, definitely Iman Quick. Do like the upside for him here in this spot, going up against his former team. Don't hate, don't mind it. Jalen Brunson, not scared of that defense. And I know that these players, like if just see in the comments, you're going to want to actually stick it to your former team. So I do like the upside for Quick, do like the upside for RJ Barrett. Both those guys will be the main two I go to. Scotty, he's finding his way to get there. He's getting back in that groove. He's looking for those rebounds. He's getting those assists again. Really great defensive stats in that last game against Chicago. And again, not going to hate, don't mind it. Definitely see the upside for him here, going up against the New York Knicks. Now, if you think that RJ Barrett quick, they don't come in here with the vendetta, they don't come in here trying to get their get back, I definitely understand going to Scotty Barnes, but I personally feel like it's going to be a get back type game for him coming in here, especially playing in the Garden. Now, going over to New York Knicks side, of course, we got to talk about our boy OG, who was traded away. Granted, he wanted to leave, so there's a difference in regards to that, but still showing that they're playing him almost the whole game. Uh, Tibbs, I hope you know what you're doing, is the only thing I'm going to say in regards to that, because we've seen what you've done with players before in the past when this happens. Just saying. Just saying. But if he's going to be out there playing almost the whole daggone game, and RJ Barrett, not scared of his defense, and I know he could be turnover prone and things like that, OG, definitely don't mind taking him at 5'9". I kind of consider that a mid-tier value that you can go ahead and take on the slate. Definitely just get you some action and a piece in this game. So I don't mind OG. Outside of that, like I said, Isaiah Hartenstein, he should be, not even should, he will crush this matchup. There's no questions asked. Do you see those rebound numbers that he put up going up against Washington? I would expect kind of similar, at least close to 14, 15 rebounds in this game. Like I already touched on it, I love his rebounds for today. I love his defensive rebounds, his fantasy points, all that. As long as his fantasy points are still hovering right around 32, 35 fantasy points, I will take the over on that all day, every day. That should be very easy to go ahead and build a slip out with that right there. Going over to the Memphis Grizzlies, taking on Chicago Bulls. Like I said, for them, really, they're kind of playing with the B squad, B team. Jaren Jackson Jr., long as not even long. As long as everyone's out, he's going to be the main focal point, and he's going to have to jack up a whole bunch of shots. As we've seen, he went 3 of 6 in that last game. Really great point production, 36 points in that game. Do love the upside for him. 7-8, don't hate, don't mind it. Definitely, again, he's going to have the usage. Vince Williams Jr., he's finding a way to stuff the stat sheet, and it kind of looks like he's playing more of a point forward role when he's out there. Do love the upside for him as well. Tillman, don't hate it, don't mind it, not a must. Luke Kennard at 5'2", definitely will be going right back to him. He's kind of playing like an off-ball role, but still scoring very well whenever he's out there. A lot of people kind of got burned with the GG Jackson. He didn't get the start, well, not even the start, didn't really get the run and burn. 4,500 could be a go back to play that you can go to. If they go ahead and they start, I want to say it was John Conchard had got the start last game. If they start Conchard again, 27 minutes. Now, I know that he can actually produce whenever he gets the burn and run, so I'm going to go right back to Conchard if he gets to start. If they're going to actually let him start, he was a DNP the game before, but if they do have Conchard at 3,400, you damn well best believe I'm going to go ahead and play that. That's just value all day, every day for me right there. But if Conchard is not going to get a start and they're going to go with someone else inside the starting lineup, maybe like a Zaire Williams. If they start Zaire at that 4,200 price tag, I see no reason not to go ahead and take that as well. The upside, we know that these players, they can actually produce and do a little bit of something. But Conchard, pay attention to that. If he actually starts 3,400, smash that in, lock it in. Don't even worry about it. Don't think about it. He's going to at least get you about 15 to 20-ish fantasy points, and at 3,400, we will take those 20 fantasy points that he can get us. Now, over here on the Chicago Bulls, like we talked about it, Zach LaVine's going to be out. Kobe White, his price has dropped, and this is a price reflecting that Zach LaVine is playing. Zach LaVine is in 7-1. We know that he was up there more towards the higher end of the 7K price tag when he was putting up some pretty decent numbers in these games. The matchup going against the Memphis Grizzlies, they're not the crazy defensive Memphis Grizzlies that we think of old. You definitely can go ahead and play a Kobe White at 7-1. I do like the upside, do like the price for him, and that it just screams lock me in, play me. I really do like that for him. Might be one of my core pieces, core plays. Really have been eyeballing him since I looked and opened up the slate. Outside of that, DeMar DeRozan, we know he's going to get the usage, he's going to get the burn and run. Pretty good game that last game against Toronto, his former team, 42.75 fantasy points, really great. And then Vooch himself, playing up against some baby centers, I definitely do feel like he can definitely produce. Now watch, the moment that I actually lock in Vooch, he's going to go out there, he's going to give me a 36.5 fantasy point type game like he did going up against Cleveland. But the upside is definitely there for Vooch and DeRozan and Kobe White, like all three of these guys right there. And then the forgotten man that nobody tends to want to roster is Alex Caruso. He is still a starter. He is still going to be out there, and he produces, and he just tends to just do a little bit of everything. The defense is going to be there for him, and of course he can play make a little bit, but the scoring is also going to be there for him as well. I definitely do like his upside in at 5-4. If you can't get up to a Kobe White, I don't mind coming out here to Alex Caruso. This could be one of those games where he drops a 30 plus fantasy point time game for us. Now over here for the Thunder taking on the Minnesota Timberpups. Honestly, I kind of want to just fade my Thunder. Everyone's kind of just priced wrong. This is going to be a tough matchup. They play very well defensively. The only play I would take from the Thunder will be Shea, just because high usage guards have scored very well going up against Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards in regards to their defense. Outside of that, the matchup is bad for Chet. The matchup is bad for Jalen Williams. The matchup is dog shit for Josh Giddey for a fact. Kason is going to get the start. You can mess with that for a GPP option. That would be like a last resort at 4-1. I would much rather just take my chances on the Memphis rotation in regards to value plays that I can get over there. Lou Dort, even if he was going to be back, he's going to be doing a lot on the defensive side. I know he's going to be left open from 3. You could definitely mess with that as a GPP option, but nobody over here is a must for me. The biggest one, of course, like I said, is going to be Shea, just for the upside, because the man finds a way to get there 30 plus points normally without even having to shoot a 3. On the other side, the upside for Anthony Edwards, especially if there is no Dort, is going to be huge. We've seen it. Legs look spry. I know he's probably going to want to get back after we injured him the last time that we played. He was out for a couple of games, and I know he wasn't too happy about that injury. Definitely like him here in this spot. The upside should be pretty good. Don't hate, don't mind it. And then outside of that, Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, both of them should be pretty decent. Rudy didn't have the best game going up against us the second time. Chet actually made him his bitch. So definitely something you could probably go back to Rudy. I know he plays pretty decent at home. Don't mind, don't hate the upside for him at all. Rebounds will be there, putbacks, blocks, all that good stuff will be there for him. But Big Cat, you could definitely mess with that right there. And then off the bench, continuously, this man Naz Reid, he finds a way to cook us every single time he plays the Thunder. He finds a way. So Naz Reid and Kyle Anderson, either one of those guys, of course, the usual players over there for Memphis you can mess with. Utah taking on Houston. This was going to be pretty quick for me. Lauri Markkanen, main play I'm going to take for Utah. Not going to really mess with the Russian roulette of Clarkson, Sexton, and Chris Dunn. You can mess with Sexton as a deep GP option, but Lauri Markkanen is going to be the main one I'm going to want to take from over there. On the Houston side of things, Freddie V, Şengün, both of those players are going to be the main 2 guys I want to go to. And I will continue to talk about my boy Ken Whitmore. He's been very up and down. But when he's out there, he gets the minutes and plays. He's a deep GPP option. I do like him just because they actually have been giving him the burn and run. I will say that with Tate, of course, unfortunately being back, it kind of messes with in regards to him actually getting some decent playing time. But and also with Dylan Brooks being back as well, that really is messing with the playing time and the minutes that he can actually get. But Şengün, Freddie V being the main 2 players I want to take from this game if I take anything from it. Other than that, that's gonna be it for me today, guys. Hopefully you guys got a little bit something from us. Well, not from us, from me on this breakdown. Definitely think I gave out some pretty good nuggets, and definitely check out some of those fantasy point props and those props that I talked about. All that stuff will be up on site literally within the next hour. Like I said, won't go into a watch party later, so won't be around too much. But if you guys got any question or anything, hit me up down in the comment section. Talk to me on the Patreon. I got you guys. Good luck to everybody. Peace.